between Complexity and CLG. CLG on the dire side will be having the first pick and ban, and they are getting rid of the Tie Hunter right from get-go. And I like how we kind of touch upon how these two teams kind of win and what time frame they're winning. And just from that, I think we're going to see ourselves a longer game. Most of these games we've been casting have been ending around the 30-35 minutes. Won't be surprising at all if this one goes to the 45-minute, even 50-minute mark, because, again, PyCan and ldOTA loves to farm, and frankly, Complexity love to go for late game smokes. They have trouble walking up to the high ground and taking those Roxas.
Yeah, we are going to see Leshrac and Tidehunter banned out here. So, two heroes that generally are stronger early game. Now, Leshrac has a decent amount of potential to get big in the late game, but he's usually at his peak fairly early on, pushing towers with Edict. Of course, I want to say that's a respect ban towards ldOTA, is that ldOTA Leshrac. Generally quite successful for him, and you normally gets a lot of farm. Invoker is going to be the reply ban here. So, a lot of teamfight-oriented heroes being banned out so far. Of course, Leshrac is a good pusher as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting things like Lycanthrope being banned. Brewmother might see a ban as well. I'm actually very interested to go into the pick stage and see if either team pick up Venomancer. Venomancer, both these teams love the hero. ldOTA uses second pick the hero all the time. Fluff and stuff also picks it quite frequently. I think they first pick it from time to time as well. But to be honest, Venomancer as a hero lately has not been doing too well as a whole in terms of the statistic of the entire Dota 2 scene. That doesn't mean anything considering that we're watching, I guess, Complexity and CLG, both teams that know how to play Venomancer to the highest level. But it's just a statistics for you guys at home to really, I don't know, pay attention to Venomancer, who's actually not doing that well, but teams are still picking that hero up, and I'm really utterly confused.
Yeah, he's a support who's very much valued for his anti-push capabilities because of those Plague Wards, and one of the issues with Venomancer is, well, not one of the issues, but one of the considerations with him is he is very EXP dependent, especially if you want to max the wards. You need to hit level 7 in a timely time frame. Well, a little bit redundant there. You want to hit level 7 as quickly as you can, and then ideally you want to get level 11 so that you have that level 2 Poison Nova, your Gale is maxed out, and you can be actually contributing a lot more in team fights. Of course, he can be, I like to see him more in like a semi-carried style position, or at least where he's farming more, but we normally don't see that. Normally he's a hard support, and I think that hurts his success a little bit. But, both of these teams certainly have the capability to play him differently, it's just that they choose not to normally.
Right. Another hero that both these teams do favor from time to time is the Juggernaut. We've seen Jo plays the Juggernaut with backup from Omni Knight. Omni Knight's another hero that both these teams actually favor quite a bit. Omni Knight, one of the heroes that's actually banned quite a bit against CLG. So we have some of these obscure or non-standard heroes that both these teams do favor, and definitely will spice up the draft a little bit if either of these teams go to these heroes on the fill for a fifth ban, or pick, sorry.
Yeah, Windrunner getting banned by CLG here. Very interesting. They do have the first pick, and I know when they pick second, they love to take Windrunner along with another hero. So because they're picking first, looks like they're trying to leave Furion in the pool. And we'll have to see.
Furion or Chen, and Fluff and stuff is thinking, which one do we give away?
It is a tough choice, and I'm thinking the correct choice here is to leave them both in the pool, and then you can guarantee yourself one. Apparently he disagrees with me.
Well, I guess if you give away the Chen, you always have the Enchantress counter pick. We haven't seen Enchantress in the Premier League 2 just yet, although she is a very, very popular hero in other tournaments that's also ongoing right now. So Chen is going to get picked up immediately here, and I do believe Aki plays it, or is that Miracle? I think Aki plays it.
Yeah, I believe it is Ake. Now, I'd have to check the stats, but generally whenever I've seen CLG run the Chen, they really like to pair it with a hard carry for the late game. Because Chen will give them that early lane control, of course the ability to push down towers, which creates more space for that carry to farm. So I would not be surprised at all to see something like a Morphling, something like an Anti-Mage, not necessarily in the next pick or two, but certainly by the end of this draft. Now, of course, that depends a lot on what Complexity picks up, but keep your eye out for that.
Similar to what this game is going to be, the draft also going quite slow. Both these teams deliberating what to take. Yesterday when we were casting, there you go, Beastmaster, very quick pickup. But yesterday when we were casting the Navi versus M5, they were flying through the picks, man. They knew exactly what they want. Going back to this Beastmaster pick real fast, I think one of the reasons, or a couple of reasons for them to pick it up. Number one is that they love the Beastmaster. I do believe TC, no, JO, their solo mid player. No, TC, their solo mid player. Confusing myself. TC, the solo mid player, plays a very strong Beastmaster. They don't have to run it in the mid lane, though. We've seen sometimes Beastmaster, for example, on the Radiant side, go on the top lane. That's a possibility as well. The second reason they're picking up the Beastmaster is also to take it away from CLG's hand. Like I said earlier, CLG love to run Beastmaster and combine the aura with some heroes such as Chen, who gets aura from creeps, obviously. So if you take it away, you get yourself a very reliable stun, and you kind of shut down the aura strategy that CLG could be building.
Yeah, another great way to shut down the aura strategy is to kill off the heroes or the units that are providing those auras. And of course, we are going to see an anti-mage pick here. I'm wondering if we're going to see a Riki reply. He's been the most favorable counter to the anti-mage. Of course, we are going to see it, as well as the Venomancer. Now, we talked about a little bit about this. This is actually CLG's most commonly picked hero out of every hero they pick. But it's not their most effective by any stretch. So hopefully they're more successful this game. I mean, he will give them the anti-push, but I'm not sure that he's going to be very effective versus the anti-mage. Aside from that, the slow is nice, but of course, blink is a pretty good way to get away from that. You generally want stuns to deal with the anti-mage, and right now they are lacking in the stuns. They're going to be very reliant on that smoke cloud to pick them off. So I'm curious how they're going to complete their team, but I would expect to see at least one or two disables picked up.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure whether it was Fluff and Stuff trap. You know, you fell into my trap with that Beastmaster opening, and then an anti-mage follow up, because you know Riki is a very logical counter pick in that regard. But you're suddenly looking back on the other side, and you see a Beastmaster who is a very capable buyer of a Necro 3, and Necro 3 with Beastmaster reward just hardcore counter Riki. Drop down the Necro 3, roar, and that Riki's basically dead with 4 seconds of 4 seconds of stun, not counting any type of other stuns coming in. Looks like Lich is gonna be the secondary support from the Radiant side, and gonna be laning with Anti-Mage.
Just to sort of piggyback off of what you were saying about the Beastmaster getting the Necro 3, it's also very common in Chinese Dota to get a quick gem on Beastmaster. Of course, it's primarily gotten for counter warding, because you can use the Hawk to spot the high ground. But versus Riki, I would not be surprised at all to see that. If Beastmaster gets any kind of a decent start, some fast levels, if they get some good map control, that'll really make life difficult for the Riki. And of course, the other way you can try to deal with them is to carry smoke up, and if you suddenly get revealed and you see that there's no enemy heroes nearby, you can pop a dust. So there's certainly some options to gank him. The question is, you know, we're going to see PyCat playing him, and PyCat likes to farm a lot, but there's going to be a point in the game where he looks to get aggressive, and the question is, will they be able to get enough kills on Anti-Mage and enough towers pushed down to really restrict that farm?
To piggyback off your piggyback from my comment, I'm glad you brought up the Chinese scene, because if I said it, a whole bunch of flamers would be like, oh man, I look a Chinese guy talking about Chinese scene, why do that? But it's okay.
Oh, come on, guys.
The non-Chinese guys are going to do that. Now, anyways, very important also, if you're ganking Riki offensively, you know, having dust and sentries, fine. But if you're trying to counter gank, or you know, trying to prepare a Riki ganking your team, having those items are not that effective. Gem is simply better in this case, because you can't just prevention dust. You have to drop a whole bunch of sentries to really make sure Riki's actually there and ganking that exact path that you want him to gank in. So it's very expensive for the support on the complexity side to sort of counter the Riki gank. Offensively, sure, you know, sentry and dust is, you know, fine. But defensively, if they're having a back foot, actually do consider getting in Gen. But it looks like we are walking into the ban phase now. Darkseer is the fourth ban here. Always odd to see Complexity banning Darkseer, because they made a name for themselves off the back of that hero.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, what direction is CLG going to go this game? I mean, they could go sort of more all in with the push. And pick up some really aggressive heroes. They could go for maybe another farmer and try to win a little bit later. That is normally their style, but the Riki does not lend himself to out-carrying the Anti-Mage in the late game unless he's got a strong lead. So maybe they'll pick up something. I wouldn't be surprised even to see a Syllabear. Of course, the Frost Arm are going to be pretty decent against that, but it would give them a lot of pushing power, another good lane controller. And Anti-Mage not too good if he gets entangled, as that is a pretty decent way to disable him. Not the most reliable, but if the Tangle ever procs, especially early on, Anti-Mage is probably going to go down. I don't know if CLG even runs Syllabear right now, and he has not been too successful, aside from when Navi ran him, but hey, Navi wins with everything. But you know, it's certainly an option. I would love to see a more aggressive pushing lineup from them, just to change things up a little bit.
And Syllabare is a choice. I'm just worried about that CLG right now does not have any reliable stuns. Entangle is a stun, but it's definitely not that reliable. The Chen creeps, the Centaur Stomp, not that reliable either once you're past, the 5-6 minute mark. So I'm hoping for some sort of range nuker, range stunner, anything is fine. Crystal Maiden Venge would be the usual suspect. Witch Doctor isn't too bad, to be honest, against Beastmaster and Lich. So I think CLG just needs some side of a support. Some other heroes that's worth mentioning, the Earthshaker, the Sand King, kind of phasing out a competitive scene lately, but definitely viable pickups still in this case. I feel like any stun will make the CLG lineup a lot better. I don't think they need to pick up another carry, although you do have two very strong carry players, ldOTA and Pycat. So Pycat could actually, excuse me, ldOTA could actually go solo mid with Venomancer, or maybe solo mid Sand King. We'll see.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a solo mid Sandkin actually, and if it is the Beastmaster mid like we were talking about, that'll be very decent. But I wouldn't be surprised if Complexity sort of tries to mind game CLG and picks up a strong, maybe puts the dual lane anti-mage Lich mid, which has always been popular. Well, not always popular, but has been popular here and there, and is very strong against a melee hero. So that's an option, and if they get Sentry Ward, Sandkin is not going to have a good time at all. Even without them, it's going to be pretty hard for him. So he'll pretty much be reliant on sitting in the Sandstorm. Of course, we say this now, he'll probably be in a completely different role, roaming early on, or farming in a side lane. But it looks like Sand King will be farming. Now, we have seen him played as a support, but I really like a farming Sand King a lot more. Of course, that is kind of doubling up on the heroes that are somewhat reliant on invisibility. Now, Sand King's not hugely reliant on it, but if let's say that Gem or Necro 3 gets picked up, it's going to make life really difficult for Sand King, especially if he is not able to get a quick blink. And we are going to see Queen of Pain picked up here, so pretty aggressive hero, actually. And I'm interested to see if they go with Venge as their last pick. That would give we talked about how they like to pair the Beastmaster with the Venge, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the direction they want to go. They are also lacking in stuns at the moment. Sandkin is probably the best disabler in this game. You have Beastmaster Roar, but it's only a single target spell right now. So suddenly, what looked like a lineup that was missing disable from CLG is sort of swinging the other way, and Complexity are the ones who might have to be a little bit concerned. Riki is someone that you really want to keep locked down. I mean, we talked about Anti-Mage, but especially early on, Riki is the scarier hero. He gets going faster, he needs less items to be completely dominant, and he contributes more to the team because of that smoke cloud. And of course the Blink Strike and the Backstab doing tons of damage. And not only that, the constant threat of being ganked. So I'm a little worried for Complexity. They got to pick up some sort of disable here, or they're not going to have the chance to farm because Riki is just going to run rampant all over their lineup.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that Complexity has opted for heroes as Queen of Pain, Beastmaster, to play one of the solo position instead of, TC's world famous Shadow Shaman. And Shadow Shaman is not in a pick in any game, but in a game like this where you need stun, where you need another range support, would be pretty good. Although TC never plays his Shadow Shaman as support, he always goes mid with it. Shadow Demon is the last pick up here, and we're finally going to see Shadow Demon sort of using it as a counter pick against Anti-Mage in a late game situation, because a mana break will pass through to your illusions and do massive amount of damage. Also, Shadow Demon's a pretty good defensive hero in the late stage of the game. When your hero gets Roar, you can kind of just put him out in Disruption. Now, they will come back with still the Roar duration on top. There's a Shadow Demon being picked, so.
Yeah, good call there, and I was actually about to piggyback off of your piggyback off my piggyback and say that, that Shadow Shaman would really fit in well because it also gives them that double disable. I mean, of course, TC is most famous for his ward traps, but equally, if less exciting, certainly equally, if not more valuable, is Shadow Shaman's ability to just completely disable the enemy carry. With that pickup, suddenly Riki needs to be looking towards a BKB. Certainly after that Diffusal Blade, I don't expect to see any shenanigans with a creative item build on him. I expect to see just that standard treads into a Diffusal Blade, maybe get, something like a Magic Wand, maybe a Rain of Aquila, but probably just rushing the Diffusal Blade. Now, I'm guessing we're going to see a farm trade. Normally, whenever I've seen this matchup, it seems like teams are content to let their Riki get the farm and the enemy anti-mage get the farm, and then look, if you're the team with the Riki, at some point in the mid-game, you're like, okay, time to go gank. Ideally after getting some towers. Now, with that Shadow Demon pickup, they don't have too much pushing. They're very reliant on the Chen.
Well, we'll see who is playing what. That's an indication of, yeah, we have Fluff and stuff playing the Shadow Shaman, so it's not going to be a farming, which makes a lot of sense, because if you look at the heroes over, Queen of Pain, Beastmaster, and Anti-Mage kind of need their solo lanes of farm, so it doesn't make sense to even throw Shadow Shaman into the mix. We have Jo playing the Queen of Pain here, Hannah Montana playing the Beastmaster, TC, of course, playing the anti-mage X, Mike the hardcore support player playing the Lich, and Fluff and Stuff, the captain, playing Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, meanwhile for CLG, we're going to have Miracle in his standard role in that hard support Venomancer. Pycat actually going to be playing the Shadow Demon, so maybe we're going to see a farming Shadow Demon. That looks like the stand, I believe Goldbear's will stand in, not sure. Going to be playing that Sand King. ldOTA going to be farming it up on the Riki. He started with a Poor Man Shield. He's not been pulled any regen. I expect he will be at some point. And Ake going to be on that. Chen looks like they might be doing an offensive jungle, probably just going to be warding the enemy pull camp, trying to deny whatever farm they can to whoever's in this bottom lane. And it looks like it is going to be Jo farming it up on the Queen of Pain with Shadow Shaman there and support. And Hannah Montana mid, actually offensive or suicide lane, anti-mage as well as Lich going to be in this top lane. And we're going to see, it looks like anti-mage doing the warding. Smart choice there, as he is a lot more survivable if he runs into 5 enemy heroes, although that will not be the case this game.
Wow, I think Complexity read that lane matchup perfectly. Generally, you do put the anti-mage and Lich on the bot lane, and with Lich constantly denying, the great thing is, hey, we are getting the equilibrium closer to our tower, but right now on the Dire side, CLG's like, yeah, sure, you could get the creep closer to your tower, we have Chen to push here. But then right now, double mind game from from Complexity, you fell into my trap, and like, no, we're gonna put our surviving lane with the blinker on the Queen of Pain on the bot. So good luck killing this one. And of course, Ethershock and the Queen of Pain, we have sufficient defensive AoE to maybe counter push against Chen. Now Chen's always difficult to counter push, but that's a start, having 2 AoE nukes in the lane.
Yeah, we're gonna see an offensive double jungle perhaps. Now it looks like Venomancer is going to be supporting him in the lane, which makes sense. Riki really has no lane control, so can't be left on his own, especially at the early stages. Wonder where Chen's going to look to go first. He does have a Smoke of Deceit. I would expect to see him. I mean, he could dive bottom, but more likely going to be looking to go on this Beastmaster mid early on, as he will be pretty unprotected. Once they see the lanes, I think that's the way to go.
Yep, I completely agree with Shadow Demon in the mid lane. Very easy to set up a disruption to even allow for that Centaur or Furball to walk into melee range and get a very easy kill. So Hannah Montana's got to go Hawk at number 2, even if he wants to get some aura for his teammates. I feel like if he doesn't go Hawk, he's going to just get ganked repetitively, all the time.
Yeah, no, they did not wear the pull bottom, and I think the Hawk's a good choice, but they didn't wear the pull bottom, so it's going to be stacked up. But Ake is all over that. Fluff and Stuff in a little bit of trouble, gets Galed, might be getting stomped here. I think Fluff and Stuff might be going down. He's going to get stomped, yep. A couple more auto attacks should do it. It's going to be the first blood, so either not expecting that offensive jungle or just caught unawares and not completely prepared for it. That's a key kill there. It's going to make life a lot more difficult for this bottom lane. And I believe, who picked that one up? It was the Venomancer, so if he gets quick boots, going to be able to get very aggressive, or you might see a courier upgrade.
I think quick boots might be the better choice. Venomancer is a hero that gets a lot better when you take up the boots, and no one really needs a courier desperately in this point. He is walking the secret shop, and boots is going to get picked up. Nice choice there. And on the top lane here, seems like coBear, which might be Smuggling's, I don't know, Smurf tech or whatever else, cannot really shut down TC as you expect, but he is going to get some EXP under the tower, and Sand King is a hero that just needs EXP, to be honest. He wants a blink, but having level 7 is what he needs.
Yeah, he'll be able to get some farm here and there, but he does have to be very careful about his positioning, as I believe that was the game lagging. Seems like it's okay for now. And I wanted to point out, Fluff and Stuff did ward his own big camp, trying to slow down Ake. Now, Ake can still grab a Centaur from this other large Sentinel camp. If he comes into the high ground right over here, you can actually get vision of the Centaur, dominate it, and then use that to gank. So there's still some options for him, but a very defensive jungle ward being placed. They probably should have done that from the beginning. But of course, maybe not expecting that offensive jungle. Jo going to be getting Venomous Scaled, a little bit for actually Gale missed, a little bit of harassment coming up, but not the biggest deal. Taking a quick look at the creep scores here, we are going to see TC off to a fantastic start. 13 creeps. Meanwhile, whoever's playing Riki, it was ldOTA playing Riki. Off to a decent start with 12 creeps now. Pycat 10 and 6. In the middle lane, we're going to have Hannah Montana 901. So reasonably even in terms of the farming right now. And it's really going to come down to, can this Chen continue to make things happen? Whenever we see a Chen player, if he gets a couple of good ganks, it leads to tower kills. Whatever lanes he's ganking usually get dominated. And then it sort of snowballs from there. So he's got to keep up the pressure.
And not only the Chen looks like Pycat will be coming in with a haste rune, no less, and looks like they're going to set up a double kill on the bot. They do have a very strong creep to tank it. Here comes the Centaur, here comes Shadow Demon. Who is going to be the choice? Fluff and Stuff is going to go down for a second time. Let's see how what to get. Loda blinks it very low in GP, and I think he's going to survive. Jay is trying to focus it down, but it's not going to be enough. There's a blink to the other side.
Uh-oh.
Double kill
Oh,
for
man.
Venomancer. Miracle pick up all these kills. They're okay with that. I think everyone's got to back up though, because Loda very low, Aki very low. Maybe they're going to send Loda back with the Holy Persuasion. No, he doesn't even have mana for that.
Yeah, this is the best part about ganking with a haste rune is you can get right back to your lane. He maybe missed 3 or 4 creeps, but basically nothing. They're going to be very happy with that. Jo off to a very slow start, and not really his fault, just getting ganked, but really nice coordination from CLG. And that's going to make life difficult. Shadow Shaman very level dependent for support, so ganking him early means that you're delaying those Mass Serpent Ward, which will be essential both for pushing and also for team fights. And if they try to push your towers down and you don't have those Serpent Wards, it's going to be very difficult. There's not much anti-push right now on this Radiant squad. The Ether Shock's going to be slow to level up. Of course, you have the Wild Axes, but that alone is not completely enough. And Scream of Pain, it's very dangerous to walk up to the creeps in order to make sure you hit all of them, especially early on.
Highcat getting for another rune, and this is an important thing to point out. Not only is he getting the runes, he's getting the runes against the Beastmaster, who went for a build to ensure himself to get the runes. The build for the Beastmaster is the Axis and Aura, which makes me think that you want to push the lane all the time. But unfortunately, he's getting outpushed by a Shadow Shaman poison build. That is
Shadow Demon.
Shadow Demon poison.
Yeah, the poison actually pushes extremely hard. Once you get 3 or 4 stacks, you can pretty much blow up an entire creep wave instantly. And once that hits level 7, it's going to be... I think he's actually just going to get outpushed all game. Beastmaster has some decent push, but we just see the creeps getting killed off pretty quickly. Now, also might have been good timing there, as when he came back to the lane, I believe it was not near a rune spawn, and so he sort of got the creep wave going back in his favor before it. Of course, if you get into a nice rhythm mid, that's really all you need. And so far, the rhythm is all in Pycat's favor. He's already level 6, even though he spent a decent amount of time ganking bottom. Hannah Montana hitting 6 as well. But Pycat, we talked about his hard carry potential, but he's showing off his ability to play pretty much any hero. The Shadow Demon mid is quite impressive so far. Ake going to be continuing to jungle it up. He's actually getting a decent amount of levels. I think the last share we cast, he was like level 4 at 12 minutes in. Ake already hitting level 3, about to hit level 4 at 5 minutes in.
And looks like he might be setting a gank to the mid lane. Regen rune gets popped. One thing I want to point out is Ricky's skill build on the bot lane. One of the more interesting skill build, taking a point into stats. I do think the stats choice was probably during the engagement earlier, where he survived with 20 HP and just needed some HP to survive against a poison tick. Which, if that was the case...
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are going to see a dive on the middle lane. Centaur Stomp misses. No Demonic Purge was already used. Oh, I think he's going down anyway. Nice disruption. There's already 2 poison stacks. This is a dead Hannah Montana. Nice movement from Ake. Going to be hitting level 5. That means he's going to have 2 creeps to work with now. And it's going to make the next gank or push even more devastating.
Thank you for missing that. One thing to point out here is that poison will actually hit any units that is disrupted, that is hard-coded into the game to work that way. So even though quote-unquote it's not hitting anything, it is still hitting the unit inside disruption. Looks like we have yet another gank coming in with Centaur. With Chen grabbing a Centaur. And with Venomancer just chilling there, waiting for the Chen to come by. I do believe Complexity will lose at least one more hero, and maybe the tower in return as well.
Radiant Courier almost getting sniped here by the Venomous Plague Ward. Well, not quite, but taking a little bit of damage. So a ward trying to trap Fluff and stuff in. Just going to be... Or I think I was trying to trap him anyway, but just going to miss. So he'll be fine for now. Meanwhile, we are going to see... Man, these CLG supports being such a nuisance in the jungle. Just constantly ganking, putting pressure on this bottom lane. Even just being here makes it very dangerous. And Queen of Pain and Shadow Shaman, while you do have the blink on the Queen of Pain, they're both extremely squishy. Queen of Pain still at 587 health. Fluff and Stuff sitting at 600. But, if they get stunned or any sort of disable hits them, they are dead. Sorry, I did miss a kill on the top lane. Looks like Lich went down. I have no idea how Lich died, but it looks like he's being pretty aggressive. Yeah, getting caught. Maybe trying to put down another ward as it is 7.5 minutes into the game. Looks like Sand King getting a lot of levels. This is a big concern. That's the one lane they should definitely be dominating.
Yeah, the kill happened on the top lane due to a simple epicenter or burrow strike into an epicenter combination, and Lich, not the hero with the escape spell, was picked off very easily. Well, two things that I wanted to mention was that Queen of Pain had a port scroll, teleported out. It's like, you know what, you're gonna get our tower, fine, we're gonna get your tower mid. Also, Hannah Montana, another important point to point out is he had a teleport scroll ready as well. Very good thing to see for Beastmaster player to pick up that early TP, because you could actually choose to fight Beastmaster War. Not only give you that strong disable, also pushes all the other units that you're not stunning outside and away, and provides a very important and strong slow. So don't underestimate the slow from that Beastmaster ult. It looks like ldOTA is level 6. He does have that cloud, and JO might be.
Oh, nice
trouble.
stomp. We're gonna see a cloud as well.
I think that neutral just fired off a shockwave.
Yeah, there were 3 creeps in the. If you have 3, I believe it's 3 creeps in a certain AOE, they will fire off. Although I think the AI is a little bit different in Dota 2. Like, I think it's actually supposed to be 3 heroes in Dota 2. Now, don't ask me why, but I know with Lycan, it will not shoot off that shockwave even when you have the 2 wolves and the hero hitting on the creeps. However the AI works, it did not work out in Complexity's favor, so 6-0 is the start. Sand King picking up the Arcane Boots. That kill was huge. He's already level 7. So he's tying that solo mid Beastmaster. This is not how you want that top lane to be going. Yeah, Anti-Mage is getting some decent farm, but he's going for a very defensive build. You're picking up that Vitality Booster. I think it's a fine choice. They're going to need him to be getting into these fights pretty soon. They're actually going to lose a tier 2 bottom for nothing in return. They got to trade for the last tower, but they don't have the push to get a tier 2 yet of their own, because the Rasta not level 7, or excuse me, level 6, not going to be able to push nearly as hard.
Yeah, JO just hitting level 6 right now. We'll be taking a point to a ultimate, of course. I wonder what Complexity's game plan right now is. They have lost the bot lane terribly. Mid lane's okay, especially with a tower push down. It could be a wash, although the Shadow Demon get a whole bunch of gank. Looks like Sand King going a little bit offensive on the top lane. Did have his epicenter, but did not want to channel it in front of an anti-mage who could cancel it with a Mana Void. The top lane can be said it is won by Complexity, although Sand King was able to pick up a solo kill against the Lich. So I don't know how much they're winning that lane. Yeah, Complexity right now is kind of behind. I'm not sure what their game plan is and how they want to come back from this.
Yeah, now TC does have over 6 creeps per minute on Anti-Mage, which is pretty fantastic. Some of those were neutral, so not worth as much gold. That's still great farm on Anti-Mage, but the real problem is they're making a lot of trade-offs to do it, more than you normally want to make for any carry, even one that's got as much late game potential as the Anti-Mage. We're going to see, looks like 4 Dire heroes grouped up mid. They might be going for a push here. ldOTA is revealing himself, which is good. Obviously, Complexity already likely to be defensive. That's going to guarantee that they are. And Sand King trying to do just going to do some Sandstorm shenanigans in this top lane, getting some farm. He almost has that level 4 Sandstorm, so not going for any points in Caustic Finale. Very smart defensive choice when you're up against such a tough duel lane. And it's going to mean that he can sit here pretty much indefinitely top and get some farm.
Speaking of item and skill choices, this Anti-Mage picks up a Vanguard first, and also with the Beastmaster Aura. I'm not too sure if I'm dairy crafting too much or reading into it too much. I think we might be seeing Complexity taking a page out of the Na'Vi playbook and maybe go for a Vladimir on the...
Uh-oh, Anti-Mage gets Burrow Striked on the top lane. Eats the Venomous Scale, but it's one blink away going to be enough. Good thing he went for that defensive build. He probably would have gone down otherwise. He did force... That being said, the gank did force 2 TPs. So I would say it was well worth it from that regard, as that's pretty much a hero kill's worth of gold. Of course, you want to kill the Anti-Mage if possible, but hey, it's a decent trade nonetheless.
270 go down a drain. That's very expensive to counter gank. Beyond ldOTA is just free farming on the bot lane. Already got a single blade working on his second blade. And it looks like we have some arrows drawing on the mini-map, trying to set up a push on the mid lane. Tower already half HP, the wards are coming down, but looks like they got focused on Hack. Hack is going to get blown up apart. Oh, I think the push is done now.
Yeah, Chen down. There is a Wildkin doing some tornado shenanigans. They don't have any disables, really, that they can use on this Wildkin. You're not going to blow a roar for that. They do have the Shadow Shaman, but he's nowhere to be found. He's still working level 6. 12 minutes in, it's actually not as bad as it could be, but Hannah Montana, meanwhile, getting Demonic Purge from the looks of it. He's quite slow, combined with the Venomous Scale. Too much poison damage coming out, he's going to go down. You can see the power of maxing that poison first. When you've got the heroes to ensure that they stay in range, that you can hit those poison, get those poison stacks up, it really drops enemy heroes quickly. It looks like Beastmaster is going to be the one to go for Mechanism. Normally, he certainly can carry it, but it's not the most common choice. But this game, nobody else is getting farm on this team, pretty much. Aside from that Queen of Pain, she can't go for it. Meanwhile, action in the middle lane. Chain Frost coming out. completely wasted Train Frost. That's really unfortunate. Nice disruption on Anti-Mage. He's actually going to be eating a lot of damage from his own illusions. Already down to half mana. The Hand of God was used there, so that might delay any further attempts to push. Meanwhile, Goldbear already 1,400 gold in the bank. So living up to his name, getting quite wealthy. They're not going for Roshan. They don't have the Chen. They're not going to do that. But Loda getting very close to that Diffusal Blade, like you talked about, only about 800 gold away, and then things get really scary for Complexity.
Yeah, also Complexity seems like they're getting a little bit out of position. That Sand King just literally walked up and got off a Burrow Strike. Cannot allow that to keep on happening because those are free kills that CLG love to pick up. We have double Arcane Boots up, I assume. One Arcane Boots. Yeah, respectively on Sand King and Venomancer. And they're just setting up the gangster. They're using this creep wave to bait out something like, oh, juicy creep wave on the bot lane. Someone come defend. But the entire CLG lineup is just patiently waiting. They're swinging back in the mid lane as well. Very, very good luck for Complexity to not even be in the near vicinity. The mid tower, I think it can be forfeited at this point. I mean, it's a very important tower on the Radiant side, don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't feel like Complexity could even take a tower defense fight like that.
Yeah, there is a Sentry Ward put up there, so they're obviously concerned about that Riki getting some good initiation with the Smoke Cloud. And I'm actually a little surprised CLG hasn't gone for it. Roar goes out on the Chen. Chen being the one who's out of position here twice in a row now. He's going to go down now. I believe Hand of God was on cooldown anyway. It was, so it's not the biggest loss, but you don't want to be feeding that gold. You don't want to be feeding those kills. Looks like we're going to see a tier 1 tower trade. Middle tower already below half health. Meanwhile, the top tower quite healthy. So this is not really, again, not going to be the best trade for Complexity. But, you know, they'll definitely take the Chen kill, and I think that's pretty big, as that's going to slow down his mechanism by quite a bit.
Yeah, also the top tower for the Dire means nothing in terms of map strategical position. Meanwhile, the mid for the Radiant means so much more for any Roshan engagement. Riki is just hanging nearby. Do we have any detection? We do have a single Sentry Ward on the Shadow Shaman, not dropping it down just yet, and dropping it decides to back off. So I think that's just a waste of 100 gold. But I think that was a great choice to back off because maybe they're going to actually try to defend this tower, yeah? Looks like they're going to try to defend and use that Sentry or maybe to chase the other way and get a kill on Loda. I do believe that's a very, very hopeful move, but we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we talked about the skill build. He did max backstab over Blink Strike. Now, I personally am not a fan of this just because Blink Strike's cooldown goes down a lot when you max it. And he's actually got, is that 2 points in stats? 1, 2, 3. No, that's only 1 point in stats. Okay. I was going to say, if he's getting more than 1 with the start he had, I'd be very surprised. Normally, the only reason to go stats is either to live, like in that, you know, near-death experience he had. As we do see Hannah Montana getting dove on. Demonic Purge, Smoke Cloud, Lich Ultimate bouncing around wildly. Actually, some really lucky or good bounces there, whatever you want to say. Anti-Mage shows up. 2 CLG heroes down already. Hannah Montana drops. Pycat going to be dropping. Defensive disruption not going to be enough. The chase continues. On to Loda. Do they have any more detection? He is dusted. The dust wears off. And he should be able to fade and get away. Oh, he's so low from that Scream of Pain. But there is no more detection, so he's going to be able to walk out of there. Not the best fight for CLG, and this may be what Complexity is looking for. You know, wait for their opponents to make those mistakes. We talked about how that's how they like to play, and it definitely paid off in that fight.
I don't know if that was what they're looking for, but that Chain Frost definitely delivered it. It was bouncing on heroes and only heroes, especially on the squishies. I think Venomancer and Chen took the big bulk of it, and they immediately went down. Of course, Hand of God still went down, but was not enough to keep them alive. We do have something coming in is that Perseverance, so never mind about the Navi playbook. It's going to go for the standard Battle Fury anti-mage build, just with the Vanguard to start it off because he was worrying about his survivability, which is a decent concern as well. Beastmaster trying to finish his mech about 400 away. Now got a couple of points into his Hawk and whatnot, so it makes sense now during the mid game to actually get some more map control, considering the fact that hey, your supports have to spend more gold on Sentry Ward as well. Queen of Pain on the bot lane, level 9.5, no item in sight. Maybe going for a point booster as we see, Goldbear might be in trouble. No, he's going to Burst Strike out. I almost want to say, as Queen of Pain, you might even go for a Force Staff. It sounds absolutely ridiculous because you already have Blink, but right now, what are you going to do against a Cloud Smoke from Riki?
Not a whole lot. I actually think it's not ridiculous at all. It's a good choice. The two best or most common ways to counter Riki are pretty much Force Staff and Ghost Scepter. Ghost Scepter would not be the best choice necessarily, as we do see a Roar going out on Pycat, Demonic Disruption being used defensively. I think he's going to get away. Oh, no, he's not. Lich comes in just in time. So Anti-Mage... Wait, what am I talking about Anti-Mage for? He's actually in the top lane. He's actually... Diffusal Blade picked up on Riki. Net coming out. Nice Chain Stun from the Centaurs. He's going to go down. So Anti-Mage not having a good time. Perseverance not the best defensive item. Not going to help you much when they jump on you like that.
A very good sign of a very good Chen player is the fact that your Chen could die a couple of times, but you always have a constant army of creeps, and the selection of creeps is just so good. That Dark Troll Warlord is so good against a hero like Anti-Mage, because if you net him, he cannot blink, and that was what set him the kill. As we see a push going on the top side, Complexity not getting any trade in return for this time, and it looks like they're tier 2 in a little bit of danger as well. We do see Fluff and stuff in position. He does have the Mass Serpent Ward off cooldown once again at the Shark is max as well, but you gotta be very careful of position, as well as Hannah Montana. Every time you jump up to drop that Axis, he gets Burrow Striked and killed in result, so he gotta be very, very careful.
Yeah, I want to go back to this Anti-Mage's item decision. I don't like the Battle Fury build here. I mean, you're up against a Riki with a very good start. And it's not giving you any survivability, really. It's not going to contribute to team fights. You're pretty much just hoping that they'll let you farm, and I just don't think you can count on that against a good team like CLG when you have a slow start. I think Battle Fury is a fine choice if you're getting an early advantage, but when you had good farm, but your team is struggling, and that's something that really is to be considered with the item build. So we'll see how, hopefully TC proves me wrong, or at least makes this game a little bit closer than it has been. It's still reasonably close, but we are going to see a Roshan attempt here. But overall, I'm not sure it's the correct item choice here. I think Roshan Manta might be better.
Instead of the Battle Fury, what would you suggest then?
Yeah, I think either going for something like a Vlad's or maybe a Manta would be better early on. They have two very squishy intelligence heroes, as we do see Riki picking up that Aegis, so he's going to be even more obnoxious to kill. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a better third item I'm not thinking of. I'm curious what your thoughts are, but I just don't think Battle Fury contributes anything. And it's also not like it's going to be very quick. Normally, one of the reasons you get it is for the regen, but you don't need regen too much when you already have a Vanguard, so that's going to waste.
Yeah, definitely the nice build-up is not really paying off for the Anti-Mage in this case. I was actually suggesting Vlad's, completely forgetting the fact that there is a Shadow Demon on the other side, so you're basically giving away a free aura to the enemy team if the Disrupt does go on Anti-Mage, and it will go on the Anti-Mage. So maybe Manta Style is a decent choice, considering that we do have a lot of things like Purge, slows, poison stack damage, so that you can debuff a lot of stuff. That would be decent. But Battle Fury is the build he's going for. He's going for that late game aspiration. And so far, they're not in big dangers of losing any racks, although that could change very quickly if you lose, like, one kill, as we see Mass Teleport going on the top lane to at least set up a defense. That's three TP score coming in. TC might have seen the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I did take a quick look at the Fog of War, and, I mean, you can sort of already tell because the lanes are just littered with wards by CLG. But they have very good map control at the moment. Complexity is smoked up here. Actually going to be going on the offensive now. We talked about how they like to use smoke ganks to initiate, but initiating into a Sand King who has had his Blink Dagger for a while, I did show it earlier, but I didn't talk about it, is very dangerous. So that maybe if the Hawk is able to scout him out, but looks like that's not going to happen. Sorry, team fight breaking out here. LdOTA getting caught out, but the Chain Frost, oh no, they're not breaking up. 4 staff away. Riki is going to come back. That was a completely wasted Aegis. Epicenter only really hitting one hero. Neck going out on TC, the decent Centaur chain stun, Ward Trap on Ake, but Ake pops the ultimate. He's still not dying. All these heroes on CLG, except for the Riki dying one time, so tanky. As we do see, it looks like Ake finally went down to the Ward Trap. ldOTA continuing the chase here, this Riki being such a pain. He is actually going to die. We're going to see Hannah Montana going down as well. The chase continues on to Jo. TC out of mana at this point. I believe that was the disruption images that burned him, so he's not going to be able to escape. He finally pops the wand, is able to get away.
I think that in that team fight, that totally made sense, or that totally, if you guys are ever confused why Vanguard should be purchased on Anti-Mage, that team fight should have, completely convinced you that Vanguard is a core on Anti-Mage, especially in this game. Because, or maybe just for this game, but he was initiated first with Smoke, Cloud, Purge, and everything. He went out there alive, so that just shows you that Vanguard was absolutely key in terms of his survival. Sure, there was a lot of mecha, there was a lot of heal going on, but still. Unfortunately, the team fight went relatively well for Complexity, at least the way it started. But I guess Dire just had better items, better level. They were able to survive. I guess if Complexity had a better early game, I think that team fight should have went to them. The Chain Frost was doing massive amount of damage. All the bulk of nukes went to Anti-Mage, and he blinked out just fine. So, in all logic, honestly, it should have been Complexity winning that game, or winning that fight. Sorry, but Dire just too much level and item advantages. They're up by 7,500 gold.
Yeah, they're getting quite a nice gold lead now. Now, their heroes don't necessarily scale as well with items, but that being said, items like a Blink Dagger, items like a Mechanism, going to be good pretty much no matter what your heroes are. Disruption going on Anti-Mage, just a little bit of harassment. It's going to force them off the creep wave. In terms of strategy, I don't know if going offensive was the correct choice there, especially against a Riki with a Cloud. I believe Sand King showed his Blink Dagger. I'm pretty sure he was farming with it. So if Complexity was paying attention, which they should be, they are a pro team after all, they should have noticed that, and I just think it's very dangerous to try and initiate. That being said, the Epicenter was by no means a great one. It really only hit one hero. But it could, if the Epicenter was better, that fight could have been a lot more one-sided than it was.
Yeah, it hit the very, very tanky Beastmaster and Anti-Mage, and not really the squishy, the Quap, the Lich, and Shadow Shaman. So, meanwhile, JL might be a little bit of trouble. Force Tap was JL's item choice. Good to see it. Oh, unfortunately, okay, never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, we are going to see some smoked up Dire heroes here. So it looks like they're going to be trying to turn the tables. The Epicenter is off cooldown. I believe the Chen ultimate, Hand of God available, so this is a decent time to push. Of course, they don't have the Aegis. Loda sitting on another 2,600 gold. He's getting pretty fat. I'm expecting we'll see BKB. He's not the best choice versus Beastmaster, but aside from that, it's going to be very effective. It does block the mana break as well.
BKB, to be honest. I feel like his team is doing enough job, a good enough job to actually tank up all the stuns. But we'll see. BKB is definitely a safe and a standard choice. And we'll see if Loda is going to pick that one up. But Chen, again, keeping his creeps alive, will be pushing it. A lot of wards being dropped down. The warding on this game is just absolutely perfect on both teams. Hannah Montana, again, putting himself in harm's way. Maybe the idea is to get him initiated on it, because he's very tanky. He could pop his mech. Right now, the tower in great trouble. And any deny attempt, Beastmaster again walking right into enemy heroes. He's like, you know what? Just initiate on me, bro. No problem.
Yeah, of course, TC does have a TP scroll. He has picked up the Battle Fury. I think you should just give this tower up. Oh, Hannah Montana going to get netted. We're probably going to see perfect chain stun here. Nice Burrow Strike into Epicenter. Sand King is getting hexed in time. Very well done. Sonic Wave comes out. Anti-Mage doing what damage he can, but everyone's so tanky. Getting disrupted there in the middle of the fight. Loda doing a ton of work. The wards are focusing him. He is not detected. Oh, he is detected by the tower. Roar goes out on Ake. Not sure why Ake is getting roared. Maybe that was a misclick, as I believe he already popped the Hand of God. Yes, he did. The fight seems to be going strongly in Complexity's favor. That Epicenter getting canceled was absolutely huge.
Huge win here for CLG. Excuse me, COL, Complex. Goddamn, so many C's in this game. But that win was absolutely perfectly built up by the Radiant squad. Beastmaster knew he had buyback, put himself in harm's way, baited out of the cloud, died, bought back immediately. Sand King's ultimate jumped in thinking he was boss, got hexed up and war trapped by a Radiant player, Fluff and stuff. So seems like TC is not the only guy that could war trap on this team, not surprisingly. And because of those two mistakes here from the Dire side, Complexity won a huge team fight, and they needed that one badly. Now it's going to give a little bit more time for free farm. TC is farming on the top lane. It might even push down a tier 1 tower. Score is a lot closer now.
Oh, Hannah Montana picking by Haster, and I believe that Sandgate just misclicked. I think he was in range for the Burrow Strike. And that would have been a free kill there, but Hannah Montana going to scoop up that Haster and get away. So another unfortunate turn of events here for CLG as TC starts working on this top lane. He's going, looks like he's going straight for a BKB. Pick up an Ogre Club. Going to be a very strong choice against everything except that Demonic Purge, but still it will be decent otherwise, so I like the choice.
Demonic Purge lowers your movement speed. Do you know if it lowers your attack speed?
Well, let's find out now. It purges them, it removes positive buffs, and it slows them. It doesn't say anything about attack speed, so I don't believe it does. Yeah, I don't think it does. Although,
okay, that might be an issue, because you could slow him, but he could still blink right next to you and start right-clicking. He does have quite a bit of attack speed, as we might know. Loda is going to find himself Hannah Montana in the jungle. Yeah, he did have a BKB. Oh, there's a Cloud and a Purge, and Hannah Montana is going to go down trying to pull himself up with the mech, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, it looks like Complexity may be forgetting there's a Riki in the game, but Loda is here to remind them. Going to be picking out Beastmaster. Could easily go for this Queen of Pain next. Well, she does have the Force Staff, so she could force out and blink away. But at least putting her on the defensive position, not a bad way to go. Gold Bear going to be rotating towards the middle lane. Looks like CLG, despite the way that last team fight went, they're not afraid to maybe force another one here. They're pushing down the middle lane. They got 4 heroes, but crucially no Riki, so he's going to have to TP over. Or they're going to be taking a big risk. They do see Anti-Mage up top, but he can always TP in.
Yeah, actually, Riki is actually revealing himself on the bot lane as well, so Radiant should know this is exactly a 4v5, but that also means that Beastmaster is, dead at this point, so it's a 4v4, and I guess that's why the Radiant not really actively defending this just right now. Riki is actually teleporting to the top lane, trying to set up a kill. TC might get clouded. Indeed, he is going to get clouded, trying to walk out. He's not purged up just yet, taking a whole bunch of damage. He's going to go for the tower kill. He blinks out. Here comes Pycat. He is force-staffing himself, using the poison foresight. I think TC will make it out alive, but he is getting surrounded by a whole bunch of heroes. Here comes Aggie. Stop that clap. That won't do it. Will it? Yes, a blink dagger into a burrow strike. Nice gank.
That was so well played by Ake. That is extremely hard to do. He hit the net, he hit the clap, and of course he hit the holy or test of faith there. So doing a ton of damage, and then nice burrow strike by Sandking to complete the kill. And crucially, the tower is in deniable range, and he did not get the last hit. Expect to see CLG deny that at some point, but for now, it's not being pressured.
Yeah, right now, Anti-Mage dead for about 35 more seconds. Unfortunately, he does not have buyback. I think this is time where you should give up the mid tower. Top tower got denied by Chen's creep. Okay.
Yeah, if this tower goes down, that means all the Radiant outer towers are down, and of course, Dire already has the Roshan advantage. They still have their tier 1 bottom. This is going to make the next Roshan pretty much a guarantee for them. It's going to come down to a really good complexity smoke gank if they want to try and threaten it. I doubt we'll see CLG go for high ground here, as Anti-Mage will be respawning soon, but the tower are going to be going down, and then most likely we'll see them back off. But they might continue. I guess they're going to continue the push. I feel like they should wait for the next Roshan, especially the way that last team fight went up top. It was really not a good fight for them.
Yeah, you're correct. We see Pycat teleporting out, farming a juicy creep wave on bot lane. He is almost hitting 14, so for a Shadow Demon mid, very, very well farmed. His Strum charges are already down the drain. I wonder what his next item choice is. 2400 in the go. Hex is always a good item choice. Although I'm not too sure whether they intend to have the game to go that long to actually finish the Hex. So we might actually see him go something else.
Yeah, a Hex would be great if he completes it, but the question is, that's a lot of gold to farm, and it doesn't offer you anything in the meantime. Maybe something like a Force Staff. Oh, sorry, he already has a Force Staff. Maybe something like a Yule Scepter. Actually, he's going to go for the Hex.
Yep.
So it's not a bad choice. I feel like a Yule's it would be more useful for the time frame they probably want to end the game in. Either way, IX Mike going to run by a bunch of wards here. At least the Serpent Ward going to be spotting him out. Does put down his own Sentry Ward, but of course not going to be dewarding anything as they're... Oh, actually, there was a ward on top of the Plague Ward, I believe. The smoke gets popped immediately. CLG going to be catching the Venom, eating that Venomancer ultimate. Roar going out on Ake again. Not sure why Ake is being focused, especially when they can't bring him down before the Hand of God. Hannah Montana getting caught out here. He might be in for some trouble. Looks like he's going to drop. Jo dropping his ultimate, but it's really not doing enough damage. Jo goes down. This is looking very bad for complexity. And CLG probably should just back up and get the Roshan. Don't think they're going to catch anyone else.
No, I think they're going to go for more catch and maybe even go for... Yeah, they're going to... Nice two-man burrow strike. Ice Mike in huge trouble. Ice Mike's going to go down. A long blink strike. There's the purge on Fluff, and he's going to get brought down as well. That's 4-0. I got to say, if the creep wave was a little bit luckier for CLG, that might have been a Rax, but unfortunately, they can't really capitalize too much on it. I suppose Radiant lucked out, but, down by 4 is not where you want to be. And also, I got to say, that team fight... Or, excuse me, they even finished Roche. Aegis was already on Ricky, so my mistake for completely missing that.
Yeah, no,
one.
I missed that too. I was a little bit more intent on watching the heroes. That explains why Ricky took so long to show up. He's also got the BKB now. He's sitting on another 2,400 gold. TC picking up his BKB as well. So both players playing very standard. Gotta say, it's looking pretty bleak for complexity. They're going to have a fantastic high ground defense. It's going to be really important to continue to shut down that Sand King ultimate. We haven't seen really a single super effective Sand King ultimate. He got that early kill in Lich. Aside from that, I have not been overly impressed. I'm not going to say it's his fault by any means, but in order for them to go high ground, it's going to be important that he hits a more effective one.
He's got to hit it soon, because right now the Radiant heroes are leveling up as we speak, and Sand King ultimate isn't the best late game spell, if you know what I mean. Right now, also, though, I gotta say, Radiant spell choice, especially that Roar, I think that's the second or third time on Chen. I guess if you could kill Chen right from the get-go and prevent a Hand of God, you are preventing a lot of heal. But I think there's just more important targets on the Dire side to hit. Maybe the Ricky, probably not now, considering that he does have the Aegis. Maybe the Shadow Demon, because he's doing a lot of work, so... I'm not sure whether the Roar on Chen is the best of choice, though.
Yeah, especially where he roared him. He roared into the... Like, Chen was pretty much in the pit, and Hannah Montana's team was pretty far behind him. So the chances of his team getting there and killing the Chen before he can drop the Hand of God are pretty much nil. If Shadow Shaman tries to drop a disable, it will be immediately canceled by the Sand King. So I'm not sure about that choice. Either way, Loda going on the offensive here, going for Goldberry. Did pick up a Vlad's, yet we see that R effect. What am I talking about going on the offensive? Yeah, Sand King on his team, so... He's going to be just fine. Fluff and Stuff going to be running away. Here's some nice Dire Wards got dropped. This is one of the benefits of winning a big team fight. You get to put down some offensive wards. And IX Mike is going to have his hands full trying to D-ward. I'm not sure if they know those wards were dropped. It's certainly not safe to be in the jungle right now, but until those wards get destroyed, their own jungle is going to be pretty much free farm for CLG.
Right now, we do see the complexity players farming for whatever he can. Fluff and Stuff somehow actually got up to a drums despite how hard he was been focused upon in every single team fight. Let's just check out how everyone's doing in terms of item. JO's got a BKB or working on a BKB. BKB is completed on TC.
I think it might be an Aghanims, actually.
I think you need a BKB against Smoke and Epicenter and Poison and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess it could go either way. To me, they still lack damage, though.
If you're going after, why don't you go with the point booster? It just gives you better.
Yeah, that's true. It probably is. I mean, maybe he just wanted to spend his gold before he died. Not sure.
You're right. He's got a point booster now.
I mean, to me, they lack damage because Anti-Mage, while he can do a decent amount, of course he can get purged, and Riki might be able to just burn him down 1v1. I mean, the BKB will prevent the Cloud from silencing you, as we do see Sangi going on the offensive. Two-man Cloud is going to be hitting Hannah Montana as well. Chain Frost getting dropped very defensively. That's going to be a complete waste. Not sure why the Hand of God was used there. Everyone was at full health, and you have the pipe going. That was a huge waste. But they might be able to go high ground anyway. They are going to continue this push. We're going to see what looks like a base trade attempt. This is Complexity really just going to forfeit the Raxes here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what an anti-mage can actually out DPS the entire Radiant squad. Here comes a two-man Burrow Strike. Ricky comes in, Cloud on everyone. War Trap on Ricky, huge War Trap, but it's not going to be enough. Wards getting destroyed right now. And right now, anti-mage comes back, BKB's pop, and two BKB heroes trading hits. It looks like TC getting out DPS because the Radiant does not have support for him. He has to blink out. Ricky still has his Aegis, and Aegis is down for Ricky. But he is going to be alive with full HP. Jo is still alive somehow, and I do believe this tower is going to go down. The Rax, though, hard to say whether that's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, looks like they might back off. No, they were baiting that one a little bit. Nice blink back in, and Burrow Strike coming out from the Sand King. And now it's Rax time. Do not think they should dive any of these heroes. It looks like they were thinking about it, but no, just a defensive disruption being dropped. Just to sort of scare the
HP, I think it's going to go down nonetheless. Only really two capable fighting heroes alive here on the Radiant side. Jo not going to really defend. Oh, Nips Zero Strike here from coL here. But I think that's time for them to back off. Anti-Mage can't really blink in to chase either. So well pushed here from the Dire side, and that's one Rax. And 13 kills up. No, they're coming right back. They want more. Anti-Mage might be in trouble. Queen of Pain definitely in trouble. Force Staff, yes indeed. It's like good hex and a roar going right on ldOTA, but it's not going to be enough. These stuns are a little bit not being chained properly and being wasted as well. Anti-Mage blinks out again, and this Rax on the high ground will go down.
Yeah, CLG here really, they take one step out the door, you think they're going home, and then they barge right back in with a keg. They want to start the party again. Looks like BKB being dropped again by TC, but he's just getting outright clicked here at this point. Oh, Epicenter going to get dropped. There's no roar to cancel it, hitting two heroes. There's the big Epicenter you were looking for. Goldbear does go down. Another Chain Frost getting dropped. This fight lasted so long that we saw two Chain Frosts, I think. Yes. Am I seeing things? I think we saw two.
No, that was two Chain Frost.
So this push continues.
The first one, not too good.
How is the Range Rax not dead? I believe is that a Basher on ldOTA? It is a Basher on ldOTA. He's going to get sent home, so expect to see him blink it aggressively here. Nope, just going to get disabled and sent back.
Someone, for the love of God, kill that siege unit because it is working on the Rax. It looks like the siege unit is going to do the job. Meanwhile, we do have a chasing kill. Queen of Pain was able to pick off the Chen, and I'm not too sure how much that's going to affect the game, but Queen of Pain for the next fight will have his Acceptor finished, so judging from how long these team fights are lasting, she will definitely get off two Sonic Wave, which can be a huge deal, depending who it hits and how it hits. But right now, it seems like the Dire, they're just so tanky. They're surviving these team fights. Aki's buying himself a point booster. I want to say that when a Chen buys himself a point booster, on the other side, you're probably in trouble.
I believe you mean an ultimate orb. Yeah, this Chen is absolutely loaded. They're all circles.
Goddamn.
He's buying a big circular item that gives him stuff.
Yes.
It's got a picture too. Yeah, he's actually not that far away from a Hex, and once they get this double Hex up, I just don't see what Complexity can do. Sure, you have the BKB on TC, but there's so many other heroes that can be disabled, and they're all pretty easy to kill. You can't Force Staff yourself out of that cloud when you're disabled. You can't try to walk away when you're Hexed, so it's going to be a really tough time for Complexity. once these are completed. And I think CLG is going to slow roll it. We talked about how they generally win games a little bit later than other teams, and maybe they're just going to play it safe. I think that's the way to go here. If you're this close to double X, it's pretty crazy not to get it first.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not. CLG is really deliberately. They're pushing. They're not pushing. Sunday morning English is way more difficult than English in any other day of the week. But it seems like they've been pushing really hard for most part of the game. They were pushing mid earlier with creeps going for tier 2s and things like that. They're not just deliberately waiting for mistakes. They're pushing. And now they're just, I guess, waiting for the ultimate, waiting for whatever key items they're farming. Shadow Demon 3.2, so waiting for that 300 more go for the Hex. Maybe they're waiting for a second Hex on Aki, probably not. Ricky, 1800, 2000 more for that Abysmal Blade. Might not be so abysmal in this game because you can actually blink up and get a 2-second stun against anti-mage. That would be absolutely key. Basher, by the way, on Ricky, is actually a very, very strong item, especially in a heads-up, carry v carry situation, which against anti-mage, that definitely is. Of course, melee basher also goes through magical immunity, so you can bash an anti-mage when he's activating his BKB. So very, very strong item choice from ldOTA. And he's also upgraded his Purge Blade to level 2, so even more back damage. More purge damage coming out from Ricky.
Yeah, it's not, you don't always see the 2 carries duking out, but we've definitely seen it in this game. So I love the pickup of the Basher, and I wouldn't even mind seeing the Abyssal Blade. It does give a lot of damage. I mean, it's not very damage or cost efficient compared to something like a Rapier, but of course that does come with a little bit of a dangerous downside to it. If you drop that, it could turn the game pretty heavily in Complexity's favor. They're going to group up bottom. Looks like they're going for second set of racks. Feeling their oats, feeling very confident, and I can't say I blame them. Meanwhile, Complexity going to be doing what looks like a bit of a trade here, trying to force back some TPs. Let's see if CLG bites or if they're just going to continue this push.
Jo is going to do some damage on the tower. Unfortunately, Queen of Pain's not the best Rax hero, so she's going to have to port back. Anti-Mage at least might get a tier 2 out of this. Sonic Wave being used to destroy a creep wave immediately. This might be a Q for CLG, just pop their pipe and just go on the high ground. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Axis being dropped to defend this.
Yeah, before this fight starts, I just want to mention real quickly, Anti-Mage has a Manta style, and we do see actually your favorite item on the Sand King, which is a Veil of Discord. Very good if you combo with the Venomancer. I think it's a great choice in this game. Are they going to go for it, though? They got to go soon.
There's a pipe being used. Venomancer has a heart, by the way. One thing very important to mention as we see Cloud going on. There's a roar on ldOTA. Can you focus ldOTA down? That's a question. Epicenter comes in. Veil gets dropped. Everyone just dies. War Trap on Miracle. Just not enough Chain Frost. Getting eaten by the Chen creeps. It looks like TC getting out DPS. He has to blink out. And I do believe Complexity will be going down. A big Mana Void dealing some damage. ldOTA very, very low. He might be going down. No! He just barely survived. TC dies. No buyback on TC. I don't assume. Yep, no buybacks. Only Rasa, the Shadow Shaman, alive. And I believe with that, the second racks and the game will be over.
Yeah, Queen of Pain's still 40 gold away, and let's be honest, she's not going to be able to defend this by herself. As Fluff and Stuff does what he can. It's actually channeling his net there is going to get disabled and brought down. So, it was well played by Complexity. Considering the disadvantage they were at, I was impressed they won any team fights, honestly. I just don't think Battle Fury was the correct choice this game, but I also don't know if it would have mattered. Ake did such a great job early on, as well as Pycat, roaming to that bottom lane, putting a lot of pressure on 2 heroes who are quite squishy. Normally it's dangerous to dive a Shadow Sham because of his disables, but Chen makes that really not an issue because he had the Centaurs, as well as the netting creeps. Just constant aggression, never really giving Complexity a chance to breathe or get the farm that they wanted.
Yeah, CLG plays so well in every single lane. Shadow Demon was getting off multiple ganks on the bot lane, whereas Beastmaster wasn't able to do too much. It's not like he got ganks, nor like he rune control, nor did he push down the tower when Shadow Demon wasn't there. So I'm not too sure what Hannah was doing the whole time. Also, the top lane got beaten, I suppose, by a Sand King. He got a solo kill against Lich. That wasn't happy. And I suppose the Lich also got countered pretty hard because the Chain Frost was nice for a couple of fights, especially in that one fateful fight where the Chain Frost bounced only on heroes on the top lane. Unfortunately, Chen, for the most part, Hand of God and his creeps just tanking everything. The Lich, I don't think it's a hero that really fits the current metagame where there's so many summons and creeps and whatnot walking around.
Yeah, they wanted it to counter that Riki. The Frost Armor is very nice against the melee carries, but I just, you're up against a Chen, right? Lich is not going to do much to help you versus him. The ultimate's going to be useless for most of the game. I mean, I think we saw one time where he had really nice bounces and worked out. But aside from that, there were so many Chain Frost that just did absolutely nothing. This time there's Cheese dropped as well. Sand King going to pick that up. Sand King with an Agadim, so he could pretty much single-handedly wipe everyone except for Anti-Mage if he gets the right ultimate off. Of course, combined with this ridiculously tanky Venomancer. So much AoE, and it's just a nice balance between the right-clicking of the double damage ldOTA who's looking for a kill. Complexity better not be leaving their base. TC doing what he can to push out this top lane, but he's going to be forced to back off. Dire not even bothering with smoke, just going to stroll up there and defend that.
Well, TC is having the correct idea. If you're behind like this, you know, just keep pushing a lane that they want to push, the enemy team wants to push, and delay as long as possible. If they're pushing the top lane, then you push out mid, push out bot, and try to delay as long as you can. Now, I don't think Complexity is going to win from these delay tactics, but they're trying, so you know, can't fault them for that.
Yeah, it's certainly the best chance. You know, you're trying to wait for that last play of the game and hope for a Hail Mary kind of situation. Delay as long as possible, but you know, it's probably not going to be enough. We are going to see CLG group up top. Going to be going for the, you know, hopefully from their perspective, the game-winning push. Of course, I'd love to see Complexity somehow come back from this one. That would be really exciting. Vlad's has picked up on Hannah Montana. That'll help the anti-mage, but again, I still don't think it's enough. That Riki is doing so much work to him in the team fights. The bash are, you know, turning out to be pretty effective. I think we saw at least one, if not two bashes on the anti-mage. And of course, the double hex, so good for disabling teammates. Looks like Complexity going for a backstab here. They're all smoked up. Even anti-mage, I believe. No, anti-mage coming in from the side. Is Ake going to get roared again is the question. Chain Frost getting dropped. BKB getting dropped. Epicenter hitting a couple of heroes. Actually, a really nice Epicenter. Veil of Discord being used as well. Roar on ldOTA, but it's too late. Triple kill for Riki. Jo going down. Everyone dying. Disruption on TC. So many hexes. TC just can't do anything. And that's 4 down. That should be the GG.
That should be GG. Also, before that team fight, I want to point out that Queen of Pain had bot back. Anti-Mage would have had bot back if he had a couple kills. And looks like we might get a kill on Sankey. No, look for March! Look for March! He gets popped and well, Queen of Pain's gonna go down. Top rack's gonna get destroyed as well. A clean win from CLG. GG's gonna be called. We're gonna go to game number 2 as this is the best of 3 series Complexity. Hopefully they don't give away the Chen in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the you know, we talked about the Venomancer maybe not being the most effective pick, but 10, 2, and 21, of course you expect him to get assists if your team is doing well because of that Poison Nova, but I have to say very well played by him. So all around a great team effort by CLG and a good start for them. I hope Complexity can make this a best out of 3 instead of just a 2-game stomp because that would definitely be fun to watch. But hey, at least we got a longer game you know, for this one, so we're going to get the final scoreboard in just a second. Any closing thoughts on, you know, what you want to see from Complexity as we move into game number 2?
Complexity should focus a little bit better in terms of their laning. I feel like their laning was okay. The Lich was a little bit confusing. Maybe they go with the signature TC solo mid Shadow Shaman. To be honest, I don't think they played a bad game. I felt like their heroes are a little bit suspect, and also sometimes the Lich getting initiated by Sanking, that was, you know, not too good as well. But for the most part, I think it was okay. Fairly good game, and always nice to see the prediction from our statistics kind of going back into the real game. We knew this was going to be a longer game, and it went 45 minutes. So, although the game was very well decided around the 40-minute mark, but you know, still good. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the game. We're going to be coming back with game 2, so don't go anywhere.
Thanks for watching, guys.